one of our nation's top attorneys, Republican Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri, member of the Judiciary and Homeland Security Committees. And Senator, you've argued before the U.S. Supreme Court and federal and state courts. Look at that finding. Break down that report with a few short words that every American needs to hear.
Absolutely devastating, Harris. What it says is the corruption at the FBI has now become a threat to our republic. What it shows is a political campaign, that'd be the Hillary Clinton campaign, using the FBI, weaponizing the FBI, hijacking the FBI to interfere in a presidential election and to try to rig it. And Harris, they almost got by with it. They just about did it. And they absolutely succeeded in interfering with a presidency, the Trump presidency. Let's never forget the FBI lied repeatedly to a secret court in order to get wiretaps on Trump associates. We cannot allow this to go forward, and the Durham report, I think, lays the corruption bare.
Look, you've heard us say many times on this program that there are thousands upon thousands of people at both those agencies, at Justice and the FBI, who do magnificent work every day. This was leadership all the way at the top, operating dirty. Why? What's in it for them?
Oh, politics, Harris. I think what we're seeing here is liberal, radical liberal political leadership in the FBI. And also, let's be honest here, they want to call the shots in this country. I think with the Durham report, the question it really raises is, who's in charge here? You've got leadership at the FBI that wants to run presidential campaigns, that thinks that they should be able to choose who the president is. You look at what Durham uncovered, what these people were saying about Trump back in 2016, and what they were saying is this guy should never be president, and we'll do basically whatever it takes to prevent him from becoming president. Harris, that's why we have elections. Are you talking about undermining democracy? I think that's the real threat here.
Well, and let's talk about how this maybe affected an election. Because if that's why we have them, did this stand in the way?
Yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely it did. I mean, listen, they were successful. The Clintons were successful in getting the FBI to open an investigation. They laundered that through the press. I mean, you remember all the stories in 2016, in the fall of 2016, about Russia collusion, all pushed by Hillary Clinton and then her allies in the media, all of them premised on nothing, we now know nothing whatsoever. And yet the FBI, there they are doing the investigation. There they are lying to courts. There they are surveilling a presidential campaign. So yeah, it had an effect. You bet it did. And this is a danger to our free election system to have the most powerful law enforcement body in the world interfering and intervening.
All right, I want to get to the liberal media's part in all of this, and just from your point of view, what evidence there is that they might be complicit along with the feds in all of this. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, certainly they're complicit in the sense that they now know, and they have known for months and years now, that there was no evidence of collusion. There was no basis for this investigation. And Harris, I'm still waiting for the apologies and retractions from the New York Times, the Washington Post, CNN, the biggest disinformation spewers out there. When have they acknowledged that their reporting was false? You played those clips of Schiff. We could play clips of news anchor after news anchor on those outlets. When have they acknowledged? Too. Yeah, exactly. And have you heard an apology? I haven't.
Well, and
so yeah, they're in on it.
And we didn't after the laptop. You know, the whole, oh, it's disinformation, it's Russia disinformation. There were clarifications and there were some acknowledgments in that case and in this one. But a full-throated, we're so sorry if we led you to believe one thing. No, definitely not. I do want to get to this because this isn't just the media, just the feds. This goes all the way to the White House. The White House press secretary with this reaction to a question on the report yesterday. We know now that then VP Biden was briefed on that FBI probe into Trump. Let's watch.
What is the White House reaction to Special Counsel Durham's report on how the FBI handled the Trump-Russia probe?
I would leave it to the Department of Justice to speak to.
Does he agree with Special Counsel Durham that there needs to be wholesale changes at the FBI?
Again, that is with the Department of Justice. That's not something that I'm going to speak from the podium. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys in Japan.
Ooh, she pretty much had roller skates on there. Your reaction?
Well, this is clearly a White House that doesn't want to fess up to the many improprieties that the president has been involved in. And yeah, you bet he knew about this. Listen, we know that both Obama and Biden were briefed and told that Hillary Clinton was trying to start this rumor, this lie that Donald Trump was colluding with Russia. They knew that. They knew it way back in the spring, early summer of 2016, and yet they still went out there and said there's no partisanship, this is not politically motivated. They knew for a fact it was politically motivated. And even worse, Harris, one of the key people who pushed this lie at the time, Jake Sullivan, Hillary Clinton's right-hand man, is now the national security advisor for the United States government working for Joe Biden. How is he still in office? How can this guy show his face? He should be removed immediately by the president.
All right, we're going to move on to this. Today on Capitol Hill, women's sports activist Riley Gaines, the former collegiate star swimmer, urging the Democrat-led Senate to pass the House Republican bill banning transgender athletes from women's and girls' sports. Let's take a watch.
I was thrust into this position, unfortunately, by being unfairly put in a competition against a mediocre male who beat every other woman in the nation, which was a heartbreaking feeling to know that we didn't matter. Our feelings, our privacy, our safety, our dignity, our mental health. But what mattered to the left was protecting the feelings of the male at the expense of our own.
And this, the Biden administration's proposal to handle the issue, would make changes to Title IX. It would impose minor limits on biological males competing against actual women and girls. It would also strip federal funding from schools that institute bans. Republican lawmakers pressing the education secretary on the issue yesterday. Let's watch.
Mr. Secretary, yes or no? Does that mean that your department would take away school lunch programs for needy kids because a state or a school won't allow a boy to compete against a girl in the sports?
So going back to the civics, if I could.
I'm asking you a question. It's a yes or no question, Mr. Secretary.
I'm proud of the work we're doing to make sure that all students
Madam
feel
Chair,
safe in school.
the answer is yes.
Did he not know the answer? What was that, Senator Hawley?
Oh, he knew the answer, and the answer is absolutely yes. This is an administration that wants to erase women and the protections for women's sports. There's no other way around it. Let's tell the truth. Why? Because I think the left now has decided that there's no such thing as male or female. They've decided that women should have to accept the burden of biological men who suddenly want to be in their locker rooms, who want to compete against them. And if that means, Harris, that suddenly there are no more women's sports available, we're just supposed to accept that. Women are just supposed to accept that in furtherance of their radical left gender agenda. It's crazy stuff. Nobody supports this. Nobody. And yet here they are doing it.
Yeah, you can't pat us on the head and tell us we don't matter. We vote now. We do a lot of things now. Things have changed. They don't like change.